Hello everybody, this is Chino Ream signing in for Starcraft for Dummies, episode number 20, I presume. I'm thinking this is episode number 20. If not, it's 19, give or take. Anyways, this is a ZVP match. We are going to be looking at Devil Wings' replay of his game against Machon, the blue Protoss. So a little ZVP action going on here. I know since the patch, a lot of Protoss have been having trouble with their ZVP. But this is pre 1.12, so let's see how this goes. Still basic mechanics, of course. Still a lot of the only real problem about the patch against Protoss is that early 8 roach push, which is pretty much devastating if you're going for a fast expand as Protoss. So as you can see, scouting on early, trying to take out that pylon with his drone, but it's getting attacked by the probe. And I wonder what kind of... This is a gold level replay, by the way. So we're seeing a 12 pool, and then 13 extractor here for Devil Wings. On the Protoss side, we've got one gas going down, as well as a normal setup here. Gateway, then Cybernetic Score, getting out the first Zealot. It's going to take out that drone for him. And there goes the second Gateway. Chrono boosting out that Warp Gate research, so we're going to see some basic standard play here with the hopefully 4-gate, because if it is a 4-gate then we'll be able to see how Devil Wings fends that off. As we know, it's a pretty tough strategy to defend off. And it looks like he is going for the Roach Warren. So we're going to see some pre 1.12 Roach play. So we can, if you're ever, when you're watching this and as a Zerg player, you can pretty much add on the 4 range here when you're thinking of this game. So let's see how he goes. He's making his drones, making his overlords, getting up his economy. He's ahead by 4 harvesters in this match. And it looks like we are going to see a 4-gate here from Machon. 2 stalkers out. Very nice position for any early Ling push. They will take that down. And over here you can see that there are going to be 10 Lings. Probably for defensive purposes, not moving out yet. And I think it's time to slow this game down right about here. He's got his queen out, and he's getting his other extractor up, so we're going to see some Lings pushing out. Observed here by the probe. So he knows they're coming, and let's see how he prepares for that. He's got all his stalkers ready. He's going to get a lot of early shots on these Lings, but it looks like he's not going to push up right yet. And look at this, we've got a pylon going down at the north base for Machon. One thing I want to mention, if you see the positions here, we've got a 9 o'clock position here for Machon and a 6 o'clock position here for Devil Wings. So it's definitely a good position for Devil Wings if you were going Muta Harass, as Muta Bling is a very used strategy by Zergs. And with this short distance to each base, Mutas would be very, very effective. But instead opting for the Roach Ling play. He's got 5 roaches out here. And the only problem I can see so far, 8 minutes in, he's going for the Roach Ling play. He needs to get banelings, as there's just not enough forces here to be able to deal with any sort of 4-gate aggression. And if we check out on the base, he does see it also. He knows there's a 4-gate coming, and he knows he's got to start building up his forces, and he should also be getting that expo. He's got a lot of money, but he's not throwing down the expansion. That's definitely a big problem, as Zerg relies so much on that first expansion, whether it's at 14 or even later on. Within that first 5 minutes, Zergs just benefit so much from that ability to early expand. And it looks like we're going to possibly see some upgrades going on here, starting to spread his creep. One thing that Devil Wings has not done in the 10 minutes that the game has been in play is there's no creep spreading. I always like to get the second around with the queen to throw down a creep tumor and just start spreading it out. The best way of detection or way of sight for Zerg is just to be able to spread that creep all the way up through the map. And there's nothing scarier for a Terran or Protoss player to see creep 10 feet in front of their base. Now that's something you gotta work on, to be able to spread creep that fast, as well as micro, macro, and all that stuff. So One problem definitely seeing that might separate these players from gold to platinum is there's no expo for either of them. An expo just going down here and another one just going down here. No workers yet though, and we're 10 minutes in. So not too late, but you could always work with it earlier. Of course, as Protoss 4 gating, you don't expect any earlier of a push using his warp gates effectively, but looks like we've got a pretty even army going, and trying to push his army through, but his own force fields blocking him off. Don't let your own force fields kill you. And a smart play here, and I can see they're right-click microing, and no attacks, he's just pushing his forces right in. Make sure to attack click. You know, while he was microing there, he could have sniped off a few lings. And he's got all these roaches trapped back here with the force fields and picking off the rest of his army. He divided up the army very, very evenly, but even more roaches coming in here. And Machon is going to back off. That was very good force fields to split up the army, and he was able to decimate half the army. Oh, another searching overlord going down. Try not to waste too many overlords. Very good overlord placement over here. Maybe having one at each position to see where they're expanding, and he knows about this expo, and hopefully he will go take care of that soon, because the hardest part about the game is defending your expos. They're so far away from your main base usually, especially when you try and do a hidden one like this, that you've got to be able to defend both areas, and if you're constantly defending, you're not going to be able to win. So very smart to be aggressive. Also very smart by the Zerg player to be aggressive. It looks like we're going to see another altercation going on here. I'm going to pause it real quickly, and I want to see the setup. As you can see, he's spreading creep, making that creep highway, and he wants to continue doing that all the way up the choke. And if we see more, he has done one upgrade here on his roaches, so that's beneficial for sure, but so far no saturation here. He's got so much minerals, and only 22 workers, so he definitely could have a much bigger army if he had expanded earlier and used these larvae and had another queen, as well as this fully saturated and producing more units. He may have had a shorter supply of forces at the start, but by now he'd have built up such a much stronger army than you would have seen here. So make sure to effectively get your expos up and running, full of drones, and it's definitely a scary thing to see that the Zerg player is down in harvester count compared to the Protoss player. So let's continue here and let's see what happens in this battle. And just pulling back to his creep, Protoss player, this would be a smart place for a Protoss to throw down a pylon so he can warp in with his 4 warp gates. And he's pushing right in here, and good micro here is he's taking a couple shots. Of course, that will not be too much effective now, as the roach range is much longer, and you would not be able to get away with those kind of shots with the Stalker. Slowly picking away at these forces. And it looks like the Machon is going to pull back, and a good counter here by Devilwings. Oh, and his Lings with the speed catching up. They're just catching up to the Stalkers who are trying to get away. This is where, if he were to pull off and attack the Expo, he would be in prime position to ruin Macon's economy, and then he could take this Expo here and be way ahead in economy. This would boost his production of army so much better within the next 5 minutes, or 10 minutes even, while the Protoss player would be struggling just to get another Expo and get enough units, scared of another attack by Zerg. As you can see, his minerals slowly going down. The one problem I see is they're just not making enough harvesters. More harvesters need to be made and thrown down. There's so much larvae here that could be used for the Zerg player. Finally throwing down some more roaches. I would have liked to see more drones here. As you can see, maybe not, as there is going to be a counter attack going on here. And instead, it looks like we're going to see a base race. This is not the best idea for Zerg, as he does have the smaller army. It would have been better for him to bring his forces back to his creep with his Newly making units. Oh, and it looks like protest changing direction. Good to see one